Hello everyone and welcome to the Game Design Archive with Edward and Ludwig.
Hello.
Hello. Well, Ludwig, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we are going to talk about something very topical because as some of you may know, if you're watching this video when it releases, you might be watching this 10 years in the future and then you're confused.
Yeah, it's 10
but
years
if
in the
you're
future
watching
when
this,
everyone understands what we're saying, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah, when it's like
Well, I mean, this isn't super deep, but
looking back at our videos and being like,
yeah.
Oh my god, they do all along.
Yes.
Totally what's going to happen.
Yeah. Anyways, Summer Games Fest is this week, right? And that means a bunch of events and a bunch of game announcements and especially a bunch of video game trailers.
Yeah. Just to clarify, is for I think Summer Games Fest is technically just that part, right? So it's like a bunch of different companies doing like promotion.
Okay,
stuff.
Summer Games Fest.
I don't know what the technical it used to be when E3 was, right?
Yeah, it's game reveal week.
Yeah, because E3 used to be at this time, right, every year.
Anyways, my point is, a bunch of video game companies are they are revealing their games and doing a bunch of cool trailers.
Wow, are you excited, Ludwig?
No.
What? Why not?
And I'm here to tell everyone why. Now, this is not something new. People have been complaining about this since E3 times. So this is not something new. But I do think it's gotten worse over the years. And I think this year it has been especially atrocious.
I mean, it was pretty bad last year, if I remember correctly as well. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember having a similar reaction last year.
Yeah, and the year before that.
Yeah, true. Maybe it hasn't gotten worse in the last few years. Yeah. Maybe it's been terrible for a while. Yeah. But anyways, the point is, video game trailers literally don't have gameplay anymore.
Yeah.
And as I said, this has always been a problem. You know, when E3 was around back in the early 2000s, people would complain, oh, the trailers don't have gameplay. Oh, it's a cinematic trailer. Oh my god. But I guess the point we want to make today is that during the Summer Games Fest, literally no trailers had any gameplay. I believe there was like one or two, but like basically no trailers had gameplay whatsoever.
Yeah, and to clarify specifically, we're talking about the AAA stuff now, right? Because actually the indies still have gameplay, right? Because,
there was this like what's it called? Future Games show, which does like indie games.
Yeah.
And there was a lot more gameplay there.
Yeah, there was basically gameplay.
Yeah.
Not say that the games were interesting, to be clear, right? But that's different. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, because I guess that's like a very important point to make. Because the reason that this is a problem is that when I watch one of these trailers, I can't evaluate if I want to play the game or not. Now, obviously, it's a AAA game, so the answer is most probably no. But like, I think
likely though if it's a new thing, right? Like in theory, it would be more likely that it's something interesting if it's not because if it's an old name, if it's a franchise, you know what it is, even if there's no gameplay, right? It's garbage, basically, is the word. But if it's something new, it could be something interesting, right? It could be like I mean, it wouldn't be probably wouldn't be the best game ever, but there are decent big budget games there aren't anymore actually, but there used to be, so maybe there can be again, right?
Yeah, well, maybe like FromSoft reveals something or whatever, and then
then we're back on the the name matters, so then you don't care what it like. They can show a story trailer and it's probably interesting.
And I roughly know what it is.
Yeah,
true. But yeah, I actually have a really funny example from this year's Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
And that's the game Amsterdam 1666.
What is this game about, Ludwig? Please tell me.
Yeah, that is a good question. Because I saw this trailer, and the trailer was like, a typical generic story trailer with no gameplay whatsoever. And I was like, I like didn't get any impression at all.
At all about what game.
Because usually even if it's a story trailer, it's like, okay, this is an action game, or okay, this is a strategy game or whatever. But like for that game, I was like, what the fuck is this game? I have no clue whatsoever. And so I googled the Steam page, and I went onto the Steam page and I looked at the photos, and I still didn't get any impression whatsoever what the gameplay was like.
Did it not have like tags?
I don't know. I didn't check the tags. I just checked the pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, my point is like if I watch the trailer and I go to the Steam page and I look at the pictures and I have no clue what the fuck your game is about, like what are you doing as a developer?
Yeah.
Because I still don't know what that game is about. It's probably not great. I would assume.
Maybe you'll have to eat your words, and it's gonna be like
exactly
AAA game ever when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's just that you have no clue what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like I don't know.
Well, then
a cool genre. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then that actually like proves my point.
Yeah,
because like if they actually showed gameplay, I would have been interested. But I'm not, because I still have no clue what the game is about.
See, maybe this is part of their marketing. They know that you're gonna not be interested if they show the gameplay. So they just show you this thing. So now you're like intrigued. And like, maybe it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I guess... Like, okay, so I obviously just said that I have no clue what this game is. But I would assume that if a developer markets their game this way, they are like straight up telling me that the gameplay doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's sort of the way I feel. And like that's not surprising at all. Like we've talked about on the podcast before, like most people who play video games aren't actually after gameplay.
Yeah.
They are after like story or vibes or
but
grinding or whatever. But like, yeah.
Still, like, so one of my favorite examples is the Haze Light, Joseph Fares games. I didn't like I didn't play the latest one, and the one before that was a bit meh, but the older ones are really cool, right? With the Way Out and Brothers and stuff. And you would probably agree, right? That's like a story game, right?
Yeah.
He makes perfect trailers, right? Have you the trailer for what's the Split Fiction?
It Takes Two.
Split Fiction. Yeah. It's perfect. Like he literally just. It's him narrating like what's going on. It's all of it is gameplay. And it's like obviously there's like stuff going on, right? So you send the cinematic stuff because it's a story game, right? It's a very AAA-ish game, right? Perfectly like explaining like what the game is about and like why I should be interested. He's doing it perfectly, right? Perfectly, and it's and the reason I'm not saying no one else. I mean, no one else in the AAA space is doing it. But my point is that. It's the same kind of game, right? It's like a story narrative style game.
Yeah. And
he's doing it in a way where like he makes it very clear what the game is about, right?
Yeah, well I think in that case like Joseph Fares actually cares about the gameplay in a sense.
Yes.
Right? But like he's making story games obviously. But it's like how do you say it? It's like
like he's after like it's very clear what he's after. He's after like a fun like time with someone another person, right? And it's supposed to be this thing where you just sit down and play through it like together or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And have a good time, right? But like he strength that's gets like strengthened by the marketing as well, because he's like very clear about whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's actually very similar to The Order of the Sinking Star by Jonathan Blow.
Right, yes.
Because, like, was it the Game Awards when he revealed that game?
Yes.
Like last year?
Yes.
Or at the end of last year?
Yes. It was.
Yeah, and during that, like, I think he said after the fact that, like, they were super stressed and they didn't have a lot of time to make a trailer, so they just, like, made something quick.
Yeah.
I think he said that on, like, a podcast or something. But that trailer was like a very typical AAA trailer where it was like there were like a bunch of voice lines. Like there was a little bit of
gameplay. They showed gameplay at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's so continue, sorry.
Yeah, it is true. They did show gameplay. So it's way better than a lot of these AAA trailers are. But then recently they released like another trailer.
Yeah.
For when he announced the Switch 2 version.
Yep.
And that trailer was that type of trailer that you talked about with Split Fiction, where it's like he's sitting down and explaining like what the game is about and how it works and stuff like that. And it's so interesting because like I already knew what the game was, right? Because I've kept up with it for a while, and I've seen podcasts with him and like talks and stuff by him. So I kind of knew what the game was already. But if I didn't know what the game was, like that second trailer where he actually explained the game, that would like help me so much and make me way more interested. Because the first trailer, like the only thing I know from the first trailer is that it's a puzzle game.
Yeah, I actually think he said a bit too much in the
in the second trailer, maybe, yeah. But like,
yeah, for sure.
It's given like it gives a way better. It gives me as a viewer a way better understanding of what the game actually is. And if you are making a game that you think is good, then you should be like, you shouldn't hide what your game is about, I guess, is my point. But you should want people to know.
I don't think they are. I think they're just, I don't know. I don't want to sound too mean here, but like, it's just looking at the movie industry, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to do movie trailers, which does not make any sense for a video game, right? Because obviously there's bad movie trailers, but it makes sense to cut out stuff from the movie and like make a short thing that like summarizes sort of the mood and feel the movie will have, because it's like, well, that's the movie is what you're gonna watch, right?
Yeah.
But with games, like, I mean, maybe this, what was it called, Amsterdam 1666? Yeah. Maybe that's also just a story narrative game, right? But you don't even know that. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I assume that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it also looked like there was maybe some combat.
Yeah, and so like you don't know what that is, right? And that's...
Yeah, exactly. But maybe there isn't combat. Now we go back to the original point. It's like, if the developers of Amsterdam 1666 were actually like proud of the gameplay that they have created in their game, they should be willing to show it off. And they clearly aren't prioritizing showing it off, and so that sends the message that, okay, they don't actually care about the gameplay, so this is not a game I want to play.
Yeah, I think marketing games is kind of hard. It's sort of like, it's similar to music, I think, actually, because the only way you can't really like make a trailer for music or whatever, right? The only way you can market music is by, I guess, giving like away parts of it, right? Like showing, like having a track or whatever, right, that you can listen to without paying or whatever. I mean, it's a bad analogy because no one buys music these days, right? Unfortunately, but you like everyone is just streaming it, right? But if you're a nice person and actually buys your music, like you, for example, you know that like you can go to, like, for example, Bandcamp, right? They'll have like one track that's free or something, right? Yeah. And you can listen to that and say, oh, okay, this is the kind of like feel this is going for, right? So like I would say for games, you either want that, right, where it's like it's just a cutout of like 20 minutes of gameplay or something. I mean, 20. It depends on the game, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? 10 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, well, I think that's sort of why demos has become a thing again.
Yes,
right?
Because no one has.
Because demos used to be a thing, and then they kind of stopped being a thing for a while, and now they're kind of a thing again.
Yeah.
Especially with indies.
Yeah.
And I think that's like part of it.
Yeah. But games does have the benefit that a lot of them are sort of like, I mean, they're games, right? Comparing to something like board games or whatever, games is what I mean, right? And so they have like rules and stuff, and you can explain those in a trailer, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of what we meant with like Jonathan Blow and Joseph Ferris stuff, right? That they're like, they're trying to explain what they're going for, right? Not necessarily explaining the rules of the game, right? More like what they're going for, actually. I would say, like, oh, this game is, you know, I don't know.
I think one thing, like, I sort of slightly disagree with with the comparison to music.
Okay.
Because like you can show a game, which you can't do with music, right? You kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a visual part to it, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That the way like show is listen, right? But and you can do the same. You can like show a part of the game, but you can't really do that with a movie. It doesn't make sense because like you can't just show someone 10 minutes out of the movie, right?
Yeah.
As a trailer, because it doesn't convey necessarily what the movie is about or something. I mean, maybe
isn't that kind of isn't that actually kind of common nowadays though? Like, because there are like
maybe I'm completely wrong there.
Yeah, because I think a lot of what's it called? Not movie studios, but you get what I'm saying.
I mean, no one buys movies anymore.
Yeah,
They watch streams.
Yeah, but they like publish 10-minute clips from movies, like uncut. Yeah, that's quite common. And I think like if you go to like the comment sections on those videos, because they're on YouTube and stuff like that, people will say, "Oh wow, this clip was super interesting. I'm gonna go watch the movie now," or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that.
So I feel like that actually works. Yeah. Which I mean, I think that makes total sense because like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean maybe it does. It depends on what movie, I guess. Yeah. But
because I think one of the ones I've seen was like for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like the intro scene where like the Joker robs the bank, and it's like a super cool scene or whatever. Like I feel like I obviously watched The Dark Knight way before I watched that scene on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I had never seen The Dark Knight before and I watched that scene on YouTube, I would be like, oh, this movie seems pretty cool. I should probably check it out. So I feel like the marketing works like the marketing works like that. Like that works as marketing, I guess. Obviously, you don't want to like spoil the big plot twist or whatever in a YouTube clip or whatever. But
I mean, plot twist is another.
Yeah,
we're not a movie critics channel, so.
Yeah. We only critique video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like going back to the music versus video game marketing thing comparison, I feel like music is a bit. I think music and movies are more similar in that you have to let the viewer / listener actually experience the thing a little bit to market it, if that makes sense. So you have to show them a bit of the movie or show them a bit of the music or whatever. Whereas with video games, like it's not exactly the same thing because you can show the game without the player playing it, right?
Yes. I mean, you could have you could have someone play through the entire game, right? Depending on the game.
Yeah.
And it still might be worth buying, right? If it's like a gameplay game, like I don't know, you know what I mean, like an arcade game or like Souls or whatever. People still buy like Dark Souls, right? Even though they've seen someone play it or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that, like I'm sure they. Like there are definitely people who like watch a streamer play Dark Souls from start to finish, and then they go, "Oh, my favorite streamer played Dark Souls. I'm gonna play Dark Souls now," or whatever.
But I do think that companies do understand that they pay a lot of streamers to play games.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
So maybe that's just like in a later stage of the process. But I don't know, like the like I don't know. It's these trailers are so strange, right? Because they're not really like if they want to build hype, right, or whatever. The only thing that builds hype is the franchises, right? Because it's like, oh my God, there's a new God of War, right? Like that's the only thing. You can't get hyped about what was it called, Amsterdam 1666. Yeah, 1666. You can't get hyped because like they didn't show any gameplay. It's just a little story thing. And I mean, to be clear, like even for a story trailer or whatever you want to call it, it was kind of bad, right? Because you still have no clue what it was about. I mean, we're being a bit mean to this game here, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a fine game. Like, probably not, but like
they should hire someone
the thing we're complaining about is the trailer, not the game.
We don't know what the game is. We can't even criticize it. We have no clue what it is about.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's actually, like, I sort of realized now that we're talking about franchises and stuff, that maybe this is like connected. Because the thing is, AAA devs aren't doing new stuff anymore, right? They're just rehashing old franchises and remakes and doing stuff like that. You know, the God of War game is a perfect example. Like, it's literally another character and stuff like that. So it's like...
They're just using the
it's
name
related to God of War in name only, basically.
And universe, probably.
Yeah. And you know, of course, it's like, it's the God of War reboot as well, so it's not even less related to the old God of War games, but whatever. So the thing is that people aren't hyped for the games because of the gameplay. They're hyped for the games because it has God of War in its name. And if that's the case, then you showing gameplay doesn't actually matter. And I think that's sort of the problem. I think this is, like, it's hard to say which came first. Like I think maybe the reason, what I'm trying to say is that I think maybe the reason trailers are so bad is because the gameplay doesn't actually sell the game. Which it's very obvious now that I say it. Like, that's obvious. Yeah. But like...
because the gameplay is terrible.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking more like... Because we said in the beginning, right? Like, if you look 10, 20 years ago, AAA trailers used to have at least a little bit of gameplay a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And they don't at all anymore. And I think the reason for that is that AAA developers have shifted away from actually making games into farming franchise recognizability, essentially.
But okay, look, like there was this, I don't even remember what it was called. I feel bad. It was like Chinese themed, right? You remember that game, right?
Yeah, Silver Sword or something like that.
Yeah, no, something
it wasn't
sword,
that,
right?
But yeah,
that's
it was like a
that's the, like, I would call that the classic, like, a gameplay cinematic trailer, right? Because it's like, it's this like narrated thing, right, where it's like, oh my god, something evil, right, or whatever, and they're like cutting in with like gameplays with bosses and stuff while that's happening, right? So then
didn't
it's
they
like,
show like a full boss fight?
Yeah, exactly. Like they so like, okay, you know what it is? That's like a She-Seal, you know, like action Chinese style game, right?
Yeah.
Like why can't they do like that? Like, are we going? Or are you telling me that there is literally so little interesting like moments in the game that they can't show any of them? Or is it like, no, they haven't made any of them yet? So
I think the big difference here is that that game, which we don't know the name of, we'll put it in the description. But like, that game is a new franchise and nobody knows what it is, and so they...
Well, let's tell that to Amsterdam devs.
Yeah, true. But my point is that I think that game, like, since nobody knows what it is, I think the devs are more inclined to show gameplay, to show people what it is. Whereas with God of War, everyone knows what God of War is, so you don't need to show gameplay, and so you just make like a shitty cinematic trailer, and that's it. Right? Maybe,
but like, wasn't it also like Chinese studio that made it?
Yeah.
I feel like they are better at that than like
at cinematic trailers.
No, like I feel like they maybe, because I'm thinking of like Wukong, right? You remember Wukong? It's sort of a similar vibe, right? And they did the same thing, right? And I don't know, maybe there's something there with like how they market games, like they get it better. But maybe I'm exaggerating that. But it feels like it's maybe a thing.
Yeah, I think also it's the fact that it's like a Souls-like. And maybe. So it's a bit more gameplay forward than most games.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, because like something like God of War, like people obviously don't play that for the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like even I think even people who play God of War would admit that.
It's weird because like I would think that they would still want to show off like the stuff in the game or whatever. Like, even if we look back at like way back, you remember like everyone was upset about, remember Anthem, right? I mean, they even had some like gameplay stuff, right?
Yeah, well, all that gameplay was faked, right?
Sure, but I mean, I'm not saying the Amsterdam 1666 devs can't fake their gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I just want to know what the game is about, right? Whereas that Chinese game, right, whatever, I know exactly what that game is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because.
And I mean, like, if I can bring up another example that, like, it was so weird to me. So, like, they have, like, rebooted the Virtua Fighter franchise, right?
Yeah.
Which is a fighting game franchise, right? And I don't, to be honest, I haven't played it, but, like, I'm pretty sure that game is not, have, like, historically been particularly story focused, right?
No.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but it doesn't come across as that kind of game, right? I mean, fighting games are generally not about story. Let's be real, right? They're about the gameplay, and they had this like long section with like it was only about story. Gameplay. I wish it was only gameplay, right? No, there was no gameplay. It was story stuff. Like, who cares? Seriously, right? What are they doing? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, why are they not showing any gameplay? They're showing. Is it because the gameplay is not done? Is that why? Is it like, they've done like cutscenes and so they can show that in marketing, but they don't have any gameplay?
I think maybe it's also, I'm not sure, but maybe it's related to the fact that like fighting games don't really have a lot of mass appeal. And so they want to show something that does have mass appeal.
But I don't know, they sell pretty well, I think, if I remember correctly. Like like
Tekken 8
and
stuff like that.
And Street Fighter, whatever we're up in now, right? They sell well. I mean, it's obviously not. It's like casual hardcore or whatever you want to call it, right? People that, I don't know, you know what I mean, like where people are like getting into it, but they're actually not playing it for that long, right? Because they move on. So like the actual I get what you're saying, like the actual hardcore player base that stays is not the biggest maybe compared to other competitive games, but they've still managed to find like they still sell them pretty well, I think.
Well, maybe that's sort of related then, that like Virtua Fighter is trying to like make its way into like the space that is taken up by Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6.
But okay.
Because they are a bit more story focused, right?
Maybe I'm wrong here, but come on, no one is buying these games for the story mode. Come on.
I mean, don't say no one. You never know.
No one. 0 people. Right? It's one thing to not buy it in my mind, you either buy it to like. And I'm not saying no one plays these story modes, by the way. That's totally reasonable. Like, you play through it or whatever because you want to like know the lore of the characters or something. Like, sure, but like in my mind, you can only buy. I mean, you can buy it for multiple reasons, but the two main reasons is you either are a competitive person, right? You want to compete so in the stuff, right? Or you're like you want to play with your friends, right?
Yeah.
And I mean. That's sort of also like I feel like the issue with, like you said, like they die off fast and like they're not the most popular genre. I think that's because they're fundamentally about that part, right? And I mean they've done the same thing as like other like shooters and stuff. They have like microtransactions and like grind. They've done the like addictive dopamine bullshit, right? To keep people playing, obviously. But it's still harder because it's very direct, right? Where it's one-on-one, so like you're very pressured, like it's it's your fault when you lose, right? You can't like blame your teammates or whatever because it's like all on you. But okay, maybe maybe someone buys it for the story, but like I don't know.
I
and also if they buy it for the story mode, they're not buying it for the story, right? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I think you're overestimating people.
Maybe.
If I get to be mean, I think like the game I'm thinking of right now is Mortal Kombat, because I feel like that's way more like it seems like people play that for the story more, or the story mode or whatever.
No, they played for the like fatalities, obviously.
Yeah, that's also true, I guess. But like, doesn't Mortal Kombat have like a fairly
It does.
fairly developed story mode, if you want to call it?
Maybe you're right.
Because I feel like, you know, when people talk about like hardcore PvP fighting games or whatever, they don't talk about Mortal Kombat.
No.
Yeah, maybe. And I feel like maybe that's kind of what do you say? Like that's made its way into other fighting games, where like the developers have realized that there's a market there.
Yeah.
And then they try to capitalize on that. I'm not sure. I'm not a fighting game expert.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting though that they just showed a story trailer for Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, and it was no gameplay in the trailer at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like, a story trailer with some story gameplay. No, it was just a story. Yeah, unless I missed it, but I'm pretty sure, like, I looked through it and there was no gameplay from what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's us, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, I'm not saying like, oh wow, I was watching this. I mean, I didn't even watch. I watched some of it live, some of them, but not most of them. I didn't like. I watched after, right? Well,
yeah.
My point is that obviously I'm not expecting to find games I'm really interested in this, right? But still, like, I don't know. I still feel disappointed, I guess. even though I didn't expect anything there to be there.
I think the big problem for me, because I feel the same way as you. Like, I'm not necessarily watching these things because I expect to find a game that I'm super interested in. But the thing that like annoys me, which, as I said in the beginning, has started happening in the past few years, that didn't happen at the same scale before, is that I have no clue what like 80% of the games are about.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an established franchise.
Yeah. But I think... yeah, go ahead.
I just think that's weird, and it's like a worrying pattern, I guess. Because it like... that's... maybe I'm assuming too much. Like, maybe it's not that deep. But that like almost proves that people don't care about gameplay at all. Since people seem to get hyped about it. That's sort of one of the big things that changed as well. Because like back in like the early 2000s, when there was like a cinematic trailer, people would complain about it. Like obviously people would still get people would still get hyped if it's a big franchise, but they would say, "Oh, it's lame that it's just a story trailer. Sure. I want to see some gameplay." But like nowadays, that's not even true. Like if you go to the like comment section on the trailer of Amsterdam 1666 or whatever, I'm sure you're gonna see people who say, "Wow, this game looks great."
Yeah.
But it's like, what is this game? You know. And maybe on that trailer, someone will complain, "Where's the gameplay?" or whatever, because like it was very unclear, but. Yeah, it's just it's a worrying trend, I guess.
Yeah.
Trend that's been going on for like 30 years.
Yeah, but then again, maybe it's worse than that, because like maybe what you said before is actually true, and it's like they are all like converging, or whatever the English word is, to this one gameplay style. Mm-hmm. And like so all games are the same game with like they're either like only driven by their story, or they have like gimmicks to drive them, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like kind of what's happening, right, with it.
Yeah, because it feels like all AAA games are either generic first-person shooter, Souls-like, or Uncharted.
I don't even know. Are they shooters, or I feel like are kind of gone, right?
Well, Battle Royale games are shooters.
Yeah, that's a multiplayer though, so that's a bit different.
That's true. Yeah, single-player shooters aren't really a thing.
Yeah.
Except Doom or...
Yeah, but then again, Doom is actually kind of decent, I think, from what I've seen, right?
That's true.
So it's like... they are actually an anomaly, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not that I've played the new Dooms, but... they seem to actually focus on gameplay, right? Is what I'm about. Mm-hmm. Like they probably... I feel like what happened there is like they hired someone very smart after, like, what was the game?
Doom 3 or whatever.
Yeah, but there was a game after
or
that.
Rage.
Yeah, Rage
right?
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they were like totally screwed, right? But then they hired some like Doom fan or something, right? And got it on track again. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, obviously, it's not perfect. But like, that's sort of my point, right? That's sort of what I want to see, right? I want to see stuff like that. It's like, oh look, it's like the Doom games, right? It's not necessarily a game I want to play, but it's like kind of cool, right? But there's just nothing. There's nothing. No games. No games. And I mean, Sony had their own thing as well, and like they didn't show anything. I don't know what's happened to any of the console, like console manufacturers back in the day. They used to have so many like games to show, and they had the exclusives and whatever, right? And now it's like they're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Because the Xbox showcase hasn't taken place yet when we record this.
Yes, maybe we're like everyone is watching this and like, what are you talking about? It was so much good stuff. Microsoft's coming back and showing all the cool stuff.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say because it's very interesting because like Microsoft owns like half of the world when it comes to games.
Unfortunately.
And it's like even they don't have that much to show. Usually, like maybe this year they'll have like a massive show where they reveal 10,000 games. But like, isn't it like a meme that like during their showcases they say like world premiere and then they show a game that's already been revealed before?
Maybe.
It's like classic Xbox showcase thing. Because it feels like. As you said, they don't have a lot to show.
They might actually, now that you say that, step up a bit because they've had such a bad time for a few years. So they might take it more seriously. I feel like Sony is the one that's like, I don't know, it's probably going pretty okay for them, but like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, maybe it's me. I mean, it is me a bit. But I remember like PlayStation 3. I had the PlayStation 3 and 4, right? And there was like, I'm not saying there was millions of interesting games to buy, right? But there was like, maybe a game a year or something that I would buy and be like, yeah, I mean, not the best game ever, maybe. I mean, some of them at the time were actually, I liked a lot, right? But now with 5, it's like, to be honest with you, I wish I hadn't bought it because I have not used it at all.
Yeah, I haven't bought one and I have never considered buying one.
No, there is no games for it. I don't know what's going on.
Which like for the PS3 and 4, like I had those. So
it's better to buy one of those now because you can. There's a bunch of cool games you can play. The 5, there's. I mean, I guess you could buy a 5 and play PS4 games, but.
True.
I don't know. I don't know why you would. I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's it is.
And I mean, I get it. Maybe there's more money in like not in it not being exclusive, right? That might be like what I mean is maybe it's just like they basically captured the market for people that just play in the couch or whatever. Yeah. Which fair enough. I mean, maybe that's enough money for them, but I don't know.
Yeah. Because I feel like
anything.
I feel like Xbox or Microsoft or whatever generally has more gameplay focused games and always has had.
Microsoft, yes. I agree.
And so I think maybe it's a bit what do you say, like it seems like Sony has captured the like story cinematic game
maybe that's the thing,
part of gaming, whereas Xbox, they do have a lot of story cinematic games, but they also have some games that actually do have gameplay, and I feel like since Xbox doesn't really do exclusives anymore because they release on PC as well, like you probably don't notice that as much, maybe, I don't know.
I mean, these days they're not releasing anything at all, but no, for sure, they're definitely like, they're not story heavy, I would say, at all, actually. Like, what is their game? It's like, I mean, Gears of War is they're gonna show, and like Sea of Thieves, I mean, was a big one back a while. I mean, that was like 10
if you go further back, Halo.
Yeah, Halo.
Halo was really big.
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas PlayStation, they had like Uncharted and
yeah. They're very
so like
story-sided. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I picked the wrong side.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, because they don't have a disk drive on the Xbox, so fuck them.
True. Well, they did on the 360, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But maybe there is a version. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think if I remember correctly, there's a disk drive on Series X. I could be completely wrong on that, but.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know which Xbox you're talking about.
Series X.
Yeah.
I think that's the latest one.
I don't know.
A series of Xbox.
It was a silly joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think. I don't know what I was gonna say. What were we discussing? Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation. Yeah. I feel like that's probably why like exclusives seem so much less interesting these days, because like PlayStation has like locked in isn't the correct word, but they've like locked themselves into like story games, and Xbox aren't really doing exclusives.
They're not really doing any games anyway.
They're not really doing anything.
No one is doing anything. I don't know what happened. What was it? I remember the other day I was thinking about some studio. Oh, right, From Software. I'm gonna trash From Software for a bit now. But I don't have the years in my head, so we're screwed, right? So they like, I don't remember the years at all, right? But they did like these Eternal Ring and Kingsfield and all of that, right? With like 1, 2, 3 years between each, right?
Yeah.
And then they in 2009, I think it was, they did Demon's Souls, right?
Yeah.
And then in 2000 and I think it was 10 maybe, but it was 11 in the West, I think. Dark Souls. And then it was like 13, 14, something like that. They did Bloodborne. The years are wrong, right? You get what I'm saying. Yeah. And they did Dark Souls 2 at the same time. And then in like 16, I think, or 15 maybe, Dark Souls 3. And then I think Elden Ring was 2018, right?
I don't remember. Was it that long ago? Holy shit.
I think so. I could be wrong. Maybe we should look this up.
It seems like it feels like Elden Ring.
It was not later than 2020 though, right?
I don't know.
Was it?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it was 2020. Should we look it up now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Look it up.
2022.
Okay, it was later.
Yeah. Yeah, 2018 seemed way too early.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit early. But my point still stands, right? That when was Sekiro was after Dark Souls 3, right?
Let's see. I've opened up their Wikipedia page here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Demon's Souls was 2009, Dark Souls 2011, Dark Souls 2 2014. Exactly. And Bloodborne 2015, Dark Souls 3 2016, Sekiro 2019, Elden Ring 2022.
19, right? Yeah. So then I got confused. Yeah, I forgot about Sekiro, right?
Yeah.
19. So that's like 3 years there, right? And now we're up in 2026. And I mean, sure, they released that like spin-off game, but I mean,
Night Train.
I feel like maybe they're like, are they dead? Right? They made like a game every 2-3 years, right? And now it's like, okay, well now they're like slow, like everyone else, right? Now we're screwed.
Well, they did make Armored Core in between, but I assume that's not the same team.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Scratch this point. Maybe there's still hope for From Software. It was just a thing I was thinking the other day, right? Maybe, maybe you're right.
They still have a pretty
that was after Elden Ring.
Yeah.
No, they still have a chance.
So and they're doing the Duskbuds this year.
Yeah, because we were talking about GTA, right? And I don't know because that year difference is insane, right? It's like that's like 10 years or something between 4 and 5.
Isn't it more?
6 or 5 and 6. Maybe.
Like, didn't GTA 5 come out in like 2013?
I mean, I'm not gonna guess years now because I was off.
You were so wrong. Let's see here. Yeah, 2013. So it's been 13 years since GTA 5 came out.
Right. So like my that's sort of the point I was trying to make with From Software but failed, right? That like I feel like you can see that pattern in a lot of studios, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's like the games are not getting better, they're taking way longer to make, and the consequences of that are also that, you know, the developers are changing, because like sure, maybe someone, but I mean maybe there is some people left for 10 years, right? But let's be real, like I think I think a lot of people change their job, you know, at least every 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Which so like it's not the same people, right? Making it at all. Is my point.
Yeah, I think like didn't even Call of Duty, didn't they abandon yearly releases not too long ago as
I
well?
don't know, maybe.
Which like Call of Duty, you know, they've been releasing one game every year.
Yeah.
And even they are like, no, we're not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah, but they're still updating it often. So I mean,
yeah, because they do the like live service Warzone stuff.
Yeah,
which is probably the reason why they aren't making yearly games anymore. But like, it's a very very true. It's a very interesting trend.
I guess my point is that I feel like something is not working because they're hiring more people, so it should go faster, but it's going slower, and we're getting games that are worse. Right? There is something really off. I think I don't know what is going on. Maybe it's like
well, I mean, or sorry, go
ahead.
Finish your.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Well, I was gonna say, you know,
ideas.
I think you're actively describing what's happening. They are employing more people, and so the games become worse and they take longer to make.
Yeah, but I think like the skill, I feel like the skill, like the internal skill in the studios are like, what do you say, like atrophying? Is that the word? Like they're slowly like losing all the competence, right? Because I mean, we've talked about this in the past, that games are taking long to make, so you obviously need to practice your craft as a game designer to make games. And if making one game takes 10 years and you've swapped the game designers 4 times, I mean, it actually makes sense that the gameplay is kind of rubbish, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at something like GTA or whatever, like obviously it's not the most fancy game ever or whatever.
I mean, that's what people are saying. So
true.
That's literally what people are saying. It's gonna be the best game ever. They were expecting like, I read, what was it, like 8 billion or something they expect to make on it in the first something. I don't remember. Like $8 billion. That's money.
That's a lot of money, yeah. But like, if you go back to like the early GTAs, like GTA 3 and San Andreas and stuff like that, like how many designers did they have on that game? Probably like a few, like maybe 5 or something. I'm just pulling these numbers out my ass.
But let's say they had 10, and then the programmers doubled as designers half time, right? Yeah. Because you had to code stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so if you spend 13 years making a game and you have several thousand people working on that game, like how many of those are gonna be designers? Like at least a few hundred, right? So they have at least a few hundred designers working on GTA 6, and like already there you have a big problem, because like the designers who made like the old GTAs, they like maybe they are still there and maybe they have like they're like the bosses of the design department or whatever, but you're still gonna have a bunch of people who aren't the people who made the original GTA, who do like the majority of the work.
Yeah.
And so you're already gonna degrade the quality there. And then you do that for like every department, every discipline and whatever, and you end up with a game that sucks, I feel like.
Yeah, but like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the people that worked on the first GTA were still around, and not all of them obviously, like, but some of them when they made 5, because of the year span or whatever.
Yeah.
But so like, not only did they like have the designers still, they had actually made 5 GTAs. But now with the 6, it's like the same amount of time
sort of
from
my
1
point.
to 5, but there is nothing made, and not the same people, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's sort of my point, because like if you like graduated university or whatever as like a game designer or something
issue, by the way.
back in 2013 when GTA 5 came out, and you got a job at Rockstar that year, you will have worked for 13 years in the game industry without ever releasing a game.
Yeah, and then you can't.
And so it makes sense that they are bad at making games.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's weird at all. And I feel like we get that with like all studios ever nowadays.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but like most.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like someone... Like, okay, considering we have indies. We have a lot of indies, let's be real. Like, there's a lot of garbage indies, but there is good indies as well, right? But I still feel like there is a space missing with... And maybe it's just that people are mean about money stuff, right? But like the publishers don't want to spend on stuff that doesn't make them billions. But there is this like untapped market in between, right? Where it's like sort of where that game that everyone liked last year was, but not that game at all.
You mean Expedition
exactly
33?
Yeah, like that budget level, right? But obviously not the gameplay and the game, right? But like, and you could see that it works, right? Because it was very people liked it a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I don't remember how long they spent. They probably spent too long as well, but they didn't spend as much money, at least, right? And that's sort of the point, that the resources needed to build games these days is not even close to what it used to be, right? Because it's way cheaper to make games these days.
Yeah.
So why is there not more of this like middle, like sort of the experimental AAA or whatever you want to call it, right?
I think it's just like they're bogged down in bureaucracy, basically.
Right, but if they think a smaller studio, right, and they get some money, like if they play it
they usually make games pretty quickly.
Smaller studios?
Yeah.
But like, why? I guess my point is that why does not like we talked about Rockstar. Why doesn't some of the designers make a small studio of like 50 people and make an experimental game or whatever? And I guess it's
like
because...
you mean within Rockstar?
No, outside of Rockstar.
They're making their own?
Yeah. Why is that not happening more? Maybe it's because no one wants to pay for it, but like...
I think that's related to what you said before, the fact that like GTA is the most hyped game ever, so I think people are happy working on that.
I would not be happy working on that garbage.
No, obviously not, but I think a lot of people would be.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at Expedition 33, that's like ex-Ubisoft people. And
that's sort of what that's perfect, right?
Yeah, but like Ubisoft aren't really making the fanciest games ever, right? Or the most hyped games. They're kind of known for shoveling slop, basically.
Sure.
And so it makes more sense that a team of 50 people can like come out of that, compared to Rockstar, which is like super famous, super hyped, the most sold game series of all time or whatever.
But that's fine. Like, I don't care if it's from Rockstar. It can be from Ubisoft as well. I just want to see more of it, is my point.
Well, you do see that a lot.
Do you?
Well, not a lot.
And actually, a lot of the time they don't make anything interesting as well, is my point.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you actually have a point. Because I know of several Swedish game studios that like were opened by ex-DICE devs and stuff like that have closed down because they couldn't release a game in time. So you do have a point, actually.
And they're not
like,
they're not even making anything
like
they're making the same thing or whatever. They're not experimenting at all or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't have a concrete example, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of them. Like, some of them are making like battle royale games or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, there is like 50 million of these. Maybe you should. I mean, sure, you can make one, but well, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you don't have the risk, right? If you're a small studio, you have less risk. So if you take the money, you can do risky shit, and you want to do risky shit because the entire point of you making that small studio. I mean, maybe because you wanted to, sure, but like if we're thinking about, I guess if we're looking at this through the lens of money, right? It's sort of this like gamble, right? You make a small studio and you spend money on that studio, and they do something really weird, and it might be something really popular, right? But they're not doing it. Like the AAA devs are not doing that, right?
Well, wasn't that essentially what the Dave the Diver was?
Yes, exactly. Yes, but more of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not expensive for them to pay for like Dave the Diver. I'm pretty sure it's not like.
Yeah, no.
It's not like it won't even show up on their like yearly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. But then, but I mean, it will show up now because they made a lot of money.
Made a bunch of money. Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know. Just random off-topic stuff.
Yeah, we've gone way off topic now, but it's interesting to talk about, so it's fine. But yeah, I think I think a lot of the like problem industry-wise with a lot of AAA studios is that they've grown too much, and so they've become this like beast that can't do anything.
For sure.
And I feel like I think that's also related to like why the gaming industry job-wise is so bad nowadays, right? Yes. Because the studios have been so mismanaged, and they've become this like blob of bureaucracy that is completely incapable of doing anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're probably gonna end up where Dave the Diver is now. Like I think that studio is ahead of the curve, so to speak. I think we're gonna end up there, but a lot of studios are gonna have to like shut down before that happens, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna take a while for people to realize that that's the way to do it.
Yeah. I also want to see the split between like, because right now it's like that we always talk about, we like gameplay games, right? I want to see that more recognized. That's gonna take longer probably, but I feel like there's gonna be a split at some point where people there will be an audience that recognizes that, and they will split off. So there will be like studios or stuff dedicated to that stuff.
Yeah.
Like real
I mean,
studios.
we already have like FromSoft and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they're sort of gameplay focused, but I mean like yeah, I guess that's sort of what I mean. But my point is, the industry is still like, you know, we talk. Yeah. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say like I wouldn't say that that's a split though. It seems more like, well, maybe it is actually. I think the problem, quote unquote, if you want to call it that, is that all AAA and AA studios that want to do a gameplay focused game make a Souls-like.
Yes. Here I know how to explain it now. So like it's sort of the acceptance of the split, right? So the problem is there's no acceptance of the split of like there being different interests in the space, right? So what I mean is like we have Hollow Knight. Silksong is the perfect example, right? Hollow Knight Silksong is a gamey game, right? It's made for game people. But some people can't accept that at all, right? It's like, no, you need to destroy this game to make it something I want, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's as we go further in time, that's gonna diverge more, and it's gonna be more like accepted as a branch.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like again, like video games are not that old, right? They've existed for less than 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, depending on how you count, right? But I mean, less than 100 for sure, I think. But whatever. Yeah, compared to like music, right? I mean, if we go back in music, it's like, no, all music should sound like this, right? Or whatever. People used to say that like hundreds of years ago, right? It's like, no, you can't use these chords or whatever, because it's supposed to sound this way, right? It was very, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. Whereas these days, it's like, you know, people doing whatever, and your response is not, oh, that's not nasty, you can't make music like that. It's like, no, cool, that's your stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe wishful thinking. Maybe I don't know. I think it will happen.
I feel like I'm not entirely sure that will happen, and I think the reason for that is that the like motivation, if you want to call it that, behind these two things is slightly different. So
that is why I think the split will happen.
No, but if you look at music, for example, you know, let's say like I'm not a fan of like screamo death metal or whatever.
What?
But like I can listen to a screamo death metal song and I can experience it and I can like think about whether I enjoy it or not. The thing about video games, which makes people so triggered or whatever you want to call it, is that in order to experience Hollow Knight, I need to like actively engage with it. Like you can experience music and books and movies without actively engaging with them. Like you're not gonna get much out of them if you do it that way, but you can.
That is true.
You can passively consume movies, books, and music and so on. But you can't really passively consume a game like Hollow Knight Silksong, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love with gaming is that they like enforce
that you need to
understanding of the game. But the problem with that, if you want to call it a problem, I don't think it's a problem. The problem with that is that if you have someone who isn't actually interested in playing Silksong, but they want to experience it, like they want to passively experience it, they can't, and they get mad about it, right? So I think there's like a fundamental difference there. Like I still think there's gonna be more of a split in the future, but I'm not sure it's gonna be the same way as like music.
Okay, wait, no, I think you're right. I think people still good, but I know how to explain this now, right? So obviously there's like story games and blah 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 blah. But if we just talk about one thing now, right? Just this one particular thing. It's the like we talked about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, right? So we have the like gamble slop, right? Vampire Survivors or whatever, right? Totally fine, right? And then we on the other side we have something like Hollow Knight Silksong, okay? And I think sure some people will always be angry, but I think as people play more, because gaming is very popular, right? Over time people will recognize like the stuff we're talking about, right? People will recognize this more, like for sure, in some sense, right? Where it's like, no, actually you don't want this extrinsic stuff as much, actually, because it's okay, here is a perfect way to say it, right? It's sort of, at the moment, everyone is like, oh, junk food, like we've invented junk food. And everyone's like, yes, junk food, yum, right? And everyone is eating tons and tons of junk food, right? But we will get to a point where like, obviously not everyone, right? But a lot of people will go like, whoa, no, wait. We can't just eat junk food, right? We need to, because there are actually quite a significant amount of people that care about games. Obviously not as many as cares about the junk food stuff, but still, right? Still enough to be a hobby in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Or you get, right? And my point is that the split will be bigger because people will be more... like the people that actually care will isolate themselves more from the other part, because it's all in one right now, right? For example, like a perfect example is we going back to the topic. We talked about Summer Games Fest, right? Yeah. It's not an event for people like us at all. No, right? Like they're talking about something completely different from what we're interested in. But there are a lot of people, and I feel that like there will be more people over time that are interested in this like games that we are interested in, and they will, and some of them used to but have lost it, right? And I feel like more will come back, and as that happens, the split will have to happen, because like there is no common interest between these. Right? I mean, some of you get what I'm saying, right? There will be like a Summer Games Fest, but for gameplay games.
For gameplay games. Yeah, to go back to your food example, I guess. Summer Games Fest, you know, us or like Summer Games Fest is like a fast food expo.
Exactly, yeah.
And we are like I'm gonna sound like
pretentious
narcissistic here. We're pretentious French chefs with twirly mustaches.
Big hats.
And you know, we're walking in there and we're like, oh, this is terrible food or whatever. Like obviously it is, because it's the fast food expo, and we're pretentious French chefs with twirly mustaches. But we should go to the pretentious French chef with twirly mustache expo instead, which doesn't exist at the moment. But I guess what you're saying is that it will exist at some point.
Yes, because it will. It will.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like obviously it won't be as big as
no,
at
all, not at all. But enough for like the and like there is no recognition that there is a distinction, right? So everyone is gathered at this, but it's not benefiting the people that care about the real the like gameplay games, right? It's not benefiting them. It's only benefiting the fast food people.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen is people are gonna recognize that actually if you care about games, we have to do something else, right?
Yeah.
Again, random off topics.
Well, no. So we're gonna announce the Game Design Archive Expo 2035.
35. Yeah, maybe 35 sounds. Does it? Wait, no, that's too close. That's like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like 55.
A lot can happen in 10 years. Yeah. No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, maybe you do have a point. Actually, it's now that I think about it, it's actually very weird that there's like no space at all for that, because you have like in this like Summer Games Fest umbrella thing, you have the Summer Games Fest, which is for like AAA games, and then you have the Xbox show and the PlayStation show, which is also for AAA games. But then you have the like Future Games show and the PC Gaming show, which is more for indie games.
Yeah.
But even those are of the fast food kind, right? And so there's like really no space for like super gameplay dense games.
No.
So that is a good point. Maybe there is something like that and we just don't know it. So maybe
obviously there are smaller things, right?
Yeah.
But my point is that as time goes, more people are interested in things, right? I mean, you could argue games are going to get less interesting, like people are going to be less interested in games as well, but so you could argue it goes the other way, right? But my point is there is more people that want that stuff than there is, like the demand is higher than the supply of the like events and stuff. I mean, even games as well, actually, but I would argue there's not enough games coming out. Yeah. Especially since...
Or interesting games, at least.
Yeah, I mean, with gameplay dense games are not that common.
Like there are a lot of like roguelike deck builders coming out.
I guess you could argue those are gameplay dense. But they're still... because they're still doing the fast food thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that another point, right, with that is I think that will be more recognized over time as well, right?
Yeah.
Just like, because obviously when fast food came out, people didn't recognize them immediately that, oh no, this is really bad, right? It took some time.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here, I think. People will learn over time that, sort of with like social media, right? Where when social media came out, no one was worried. And now it's like, maybe this social media thing is not that good, right? Yeah. And people will see that with games as well. Like that there is that distinction. Or if not, they're just gonna do like some people, which is they're just gonna categorize all games as just being the same thing as social media and being bad, right? Which could happen as well. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
Yeah. So I was going back to food because I remember reading somewhere about like I don't remember where I read it. Anyways, but it was like about, you know, when industrial food first came. So like, you know, like heavily processed food, like I'm talking like in the 50s with like Spam and stuff like that, where it's like a blob of random meat and it's like nice very stuff. Weird and very strange and very unnatural. And I was reading something about that where it's like when that sort of stuff came out, or came out like a video game. No, but when that stuff started like being a thing, it was like really big and people were like, oh, Spam is the future. That's how we're going to eat all the meat or whatever. And like, we're going to do all these super processed industrial things and it's going to be great. And that's the future of food or whatever. Yes. And then people realized that, oh, wait, no, actually, like having natural food and like vegetables and like meat and stuff like that is actually nice. So we should do that instead. And now we're like moving away from, or well, it's recommended to move away from processed food. Not everyone is doing it, right? But it's like I feel like maybe that's a good comparison.
Yeah, but my point is that we already have that stance in games, right? What I'm saying is like, well, no, I will eat a burger or whatever because it tastes good, right? And I mean, it's not gourmet food, but you know what? Having it from time to time is totally fine with me. And it's the same, like, it's sort of the same stance I have on games, right? Where it's like, no, like these games, like Vampire Survivors or whatever, they're cool, right? You can play them or whatever, but you need to recognize that they're not actually giving you that much back, right?
Yeah, like they aren't very nutritious.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They're taking, not giving, right? Intrinsic, extrinsic, whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was sort of the weird point. But yeah.
We've gone on a very large tangent here, but I think we discussed some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where we leave the viewers hanging. I say as if we've left them on a cliffhanger, but we haven't. But like, I think we've.
I guess there was some things we wanted to talk about as well, but we can keep them too. Like they were sort of adjacent.
They were unrelated.
Yes, we can keep them for a future.
But we can milk this topic more for another episode or whatever.
5 episodes about this. No.
But yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave a like, a dislike, comment. Leave a subscribe, as I always say, and ring the bell. Leave a bell, maybe.
Don't ring the bell. We don't know what the bell does. The bell is... No. Don't click the bell. I don't trust the bell.
But yeah, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. Yeah. Or join the Discord, which now exists.
What you think.
Yeah.
And
hopefully
link us like an article from the Amsterdam devs and tell like where they explain what the game is about.
Yeah. Please do. So yeah, thanks everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.